Hey everybody, it's Raw Vibes with me, V, and my mom today. And today's episode, we're going to talk about Disney. My mom has been a Disney fan for as long as I can remember, and now her and my dad live how far?
About 5 miles
Okay, so
from
how
Magic
many
Kingdom.
minutes is that?
About 10-15 minutes.
10-15 minutes from Disney. That's amazing. So we are going to deep dive into her love for Disney, and then I will also just be asking questions about also a little bit of divergencies when it comes to Disney, because I do talk a lot about being neurodivergent, and that's kind of what the podcast is about. So now I'm going to read some questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So first of all, actually, my mom's name is Grisella.
That's right.
I call her mom or mama or mamacita. Most people call her Shelly as well. So let's just get started.
Okay.
When did your fascination for Disney begin?
I think it goes back to being a child and being able to watch the wonderful, colorful world of Disney. That was a TV program back in the mid 60s with Walt Disney, and he's telling the people how he was going to build a new park. And we had black and white TV, so it wasn't really too colorful. And the thing that fascinated most was Tinkerbell flying.
Okay.
And that's kind of like how the whole thing started.
I don't think I ever knew that, like at all, not even a little bit. All right, so what was the first Disney movie you remember watching?
First Disney movie? Man, that would be as an adult.
Okay.
Probably the classic Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Mm-hmm. And Snow White.
What was your favorite Disney movie and why? Or what is your favorite Disney movie and why?
Oh boy.
I know there's so many.
Yes, there are a lot. There's the more modern ones like Frozen and Moana. I like the music there.
Yeah.
And then the classic of Snow White and Cinderella.
But which one is your favorite and
Probably,
why?
I don't know, Cinderella, kind of fantasy. When we grow up, we always like to be princesses.
Yes.
And, just kind of like her blue dress and poofy dresses.
Yes. Singing out the window and stuff. All right. What was your favorite Disney character and why?
Oh, well, that one, hands down, is Tinkerbell.
If you can't tell. Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell all along.
But why Tinkerbell? Because
she's not a princess.
Yes.
And probably she's got a bit of two personalities. There's the good Tinkerbell, and then there's the rebellious Tinkerbell.
Do you think maybe she's a Gemini like me?
Probably.
She could be.
Probably.
Yeah.
So I have always been very straight-faced.
Yeah.
But I do have a little streak of, mischievousness, or something that I might want to be mischievous, but never really go for it.
Yeah, that's true. My mom is like
straight-laced.
Yeah, straight-laced, which I am too, except with a little bit of defiance. Okay, so this is a good one. What about Disney can make it hard for neurodivergents like me who have sensory processing issues to enjoy it?
When you go to the park, it's loud and it's busy. Yeah. And a lot of people screaming and crying, pushing and shoving. Mm-hmm. So you have to kind of be aware of your space around the park.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just get run over because people don't pay attention to things around them.
Do you think, though, that there are people that are understanding of people like me or other people who are higher on the spectrum?
If you let them know, they certainly can take care of you.
You think, like the workers and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The cast members.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, too, because there's been time, or was it... is it the Halloween one? What is that called?
Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
Because what do they do there? Like they have different areas, right?
For the Halloween party, there's different stations across the park with a big balloon type of lighthouse, so to speak, where it tells you when you can come to get your candy. And
for people who are on the spectrum.
They do have quiet rooms.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I'm not sure where the quiet rooms are.
Yeah.
But they do offer quiet spaces for people who get overwhelmed by all the sensory.
Yeah. And they also offer, isn't it where they offer different, if you can't have certain candies?
For the Halloween party, they have they give you a token that you keep with you in your bag, and then you go to the just next door to the Hall of the Presidents, and they give you gluten-free candy.
Yeah. Because a lot of neurodivergent people, me included, have a lot of gut sensitivities.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember the one time that we did go, I was able to get those types of candy.
Yep.
And then, but I also did end up leaving early because it was a lot. A lot was going on.
And at that point in time, we really didn't know.
Yes, I was not diagnosed at that point. This was what, maybe 4, maybe 5 years ago.
More like 6.
Oh, okay, longer than I thought. See, time goes.
Time flies when you're having fun.
At that point, I wasn't diagnosed, and going to the parks. Do you remember not really understanding why I had such a hard time?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Because the rest of the family would just enjoy it and have a good time, and I was just like miserable.
Mm-hmm. You got to a point that night where you said, "That's it for me."
Yeah, and then I always felt guilty because the passes are expensive. And I would like only be there a couple hours and be like, I have to go. It's too much.
Well, actually, nowadays that was cheap.
Yeah, well, back then it was cheap.
Back then it was definitely much less. I think I remember. I think it was maybe like $80 a person, and a child is a little cheaper.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you're talking about sliding prices depending upon the day you go.
Yeah.
And it can go as high as $200 a night, separate from your park entry. Yeah.
But you are a resident. You and Dad are residents now.
Correct.
What type of passes do you guys have?
We have annual passes, and they are the platinum top tier on the Credit Pass. We can go whenever we want. There's still some reservations that you have to do before 2:00.
Yeah.
And
you're able to do like, is it called fast passes still?
No, there's no fast passes anymore. They're called lightning lanes. And the lightning lanes, you actually have to pay for them.
Oh, okay.
They're not free.
Where you go online. So for the viewers to know, like if they want more information, if they were to get this pass, do they go online?
To get anything with Disney, it's easier if you download My Disney Experience app.
So My Disney Experience app.
Mm-hmm. And you can find that on the Play Store or in Android and the iPhone.
Okay.
And in there, there's a section where you can buy tickets, and you have the ability to get into choosing your passes. The other way that you can do it is with Disney.com, and it's second way of getting your passes, and it explains everything that it's included in each pass.
Yeah, that's what I was
and how much it's going to cost you. You can pay on a flex plan where you pay monthly payments, or you can just pay it outright.
And is it easy, because a lot of neurodivergent people have issues with reading things and understanding and comprehending? Do you think that either the app or the website, is it easy for people to follow?
I think for neurodivergent, probably the website would be easier.
So the website would be
mostly because you're on the computer and it's a bigger screen, rather than the phone and everything just kind of tiny, and you hit the wrong key, fat finger, and
because even for me, this is not a Disney thing, but the water park H2O, I had my mom go online and like look at and see what would be the best, because sometimes the process,
a lot of information,
you're like, oh my gosh, which is the best, and it can become overwhelming. So, but also I think that you think that if you were to call Disney, that they would help you out with
something. Oh yeah, calling Disney, you can buy the tickets by the phone, and it's easier.
And they're super friendly.
Oh yeah, very
you gotta be friendly when you work at Disney. So, all right, next question. What is your favorite Disney movie song and why? So your favorite Disney movie song and why? Or Disney song. I don't know if every song would be in the Disney movie, or...
We're always singing, hi-ho!
Oh, that's...
from the Seven Dwarfs.
Yes.
And, I like the songs in...
Or no, that's not Sleeping Beauty.
No, that's Snow White.
Snow White, yeah.
And I don't know, I guess another one would be on Frozen, Let It Go.
Let It Go.
Because neurodivergent people can get hung up on something, and you just can't let it go.
Yes, I would say that's definitely a mantra. I think you said it to me a couple times. Let it go.
Let it
but
go.
I gotta talk about it a million times, and then I'll let it go. So this is another one. What has Disney implemented for those who are on the spectrum? Because nowadays, there's a lot more talk about being on the spectrum.
Well, it's more of awareness. Disney has special disability passes for people that have some issues, like waiting on a very long, dark tunnel for a ride.
Yes, I struggle with waiting in lines.
In the lines.
That's when my anxiety kicks in, and it's not like I'm trying to rush. It's just like standing there and wait.
So it's you have to actually apply for it. You have to have a doctor's note that explains what your condition is and why is it that you need to do it that way.
Yes.
They are very strict on it nowadays.
Yeah, like that's not something I would be able to have.
It all depends on how, the severity and how the doctor explains the situation. And then Disney has a group of people that actually sit down and review the request for the disability pass.
That's cool. So that's definitely a good thing to know for those who are neurodivergent and want to go to Disney and have a good experience.
And nowadays you see a lot of kids and some adults, young adults that wear their headphones to try to tone down, all of the noises.
Yeah, like when we went to Fun Spot, there was a couple times where I put in my loop because it was just too loud.
And that park is not loud at all.
Yeah, Disney is much more chaotic, a lot more people. Do you have a favorite Disney theme park, and what makes it special to you?
I like Magic Kingdom. Yeah, I also like Epcot, but Magic Kingdom would probably be the one that edges, mostly because you actually can get lost in there.
Lost like what? Like lost like in the
childhood. You can be a kid no matter how old you are, and you can be silly.
Yes.
You hear a song and you just start, jumping and skipping, or the band is playing and you're dancing.
Yeah.
And it is like what they call the Disney bubble. You actually literally forget what your problems are in the parking lot. And hopefully you find your car, at the end of the day.
Have you ever not been able to find your car?
No.
Well, you always take pictures. That's a good thing. So a good tip is
you take
picture, because they'll say what in the parking lot at
Disney is divided by the villains and the heroes, and each area has a different character, and they have row numbers. The whole parking has over 12,000 spaces, so you have to know where you park. Otherwise, you're lost. And you have to know heroes or villains, because you can find yourself on the wrong tram and you will never find your car.
So the best way is to what?
The best way is that my Disney Experience app has a car locator. Where you can actually input where you are. You have to have the hero's name. For example, in the heroes, you got Peter Pan, Simba, the Lion King, and a couple of others.
So you go into the app and then you can type in
and you
Simba.
scroll you have to scroll to the part that says car locator.
Okay.
And then when you hit on it, once you're in the parking lot area after going through your toll, it automatically knows where you are.
Yes.
Because if you got your location on.
So real quick with that, when you said parking, your passes include parking.
Yes.
So remember that, Disney Pass people. If you have a pass, it includes parking. But if you don't have a Disney Pass and you're buying tickets there, you have to pay
parking.
When you go into it, you pay for parking, and then you go into the park and then pay.
It's called the ticket and transportation center.
Okay.
Where the parking is.
They have the information for that.
So it'll tell you exactly where you are, and then you just kind of scroll for the line that you have your car.
Yes.
Something that helps is just the orientation of the car going like looking west or looking east or and the cast members in the tram that takes you to where you're going to have to take the monorail or the boat will tell you to remind you, do these things. I use Foursquare for my car locator, And
Okay.
I also have a Samsung Note where I actually type in
Yes.
where we park.
My mom is big. Well, I would say me, you are very big on writing things down.
And that too.
Taking notes.
Taking notes.
Dad is too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say because we all have notebooks.
We all not get
There's probably
notebooks and
notebooks
lists.
here. And also taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the other thing.
Someone like me might be like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot how to locate it in the app." So
as you're coming out,
go to my phone
as you're coming out on the ground, you'll have the section that says, you know, if you're on the villains, you have Scar or Hook, and it gives you the line number.
Yeah.
So that's another way of. And if for some reason you still can't remember, a cast member will help you, because as people are coming in, they go by sections,
Mhm.
and they have a time of when they are sending cars to each section.
Yes.
So if you tell them that you came in at 3:00 in the afternoon, they'll know exactly which areas
That's wild.
you were.
That's why Disney works so good, and why it's such a big.
They have it down, down pat.
But going back to the question, so you said Magic Kingdom is your favorite.
It's my favorite.
You can get lost in the being of the child,
mm-hmm.
and I think that's big to remember, is that we are all, as far as we know, living life once. Like, this is your first time. This is my first time. We are children. Why can't we continue to be children? We can go to the parks and act silly. And I get emotional thinking about you being at the park and just enjoying that, you know, especially knowing your childhood, and that you can experience and be a child,
mm-hmm.
and then you and Dad, and just having a fun time there. So Magic Kingdom is your favorite.
It's my favorite.
It makes you feel like magical.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite ride in there?
Mm-hmm. Well,
I know it's hard to have a favorite.
It's hard to have a favorite because it all depends on your thrill.
Yes. Okay. So what would be your favorite? I'm not sure exactly, because
if I want a
coaster.
If I was gonna say, if I want to go for like the low key kind of thing,
mm-hmm.
I have the People Mover and Small World.
Okay.
Now,
so
Small World,
really chill. You're looking at things.
People Mover, it's nice and chill.
You could go and like,
definitely.
My feet hurt, I need to sit and relax.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Small World, the problem with it, as chill as it is,
stuck in your head.
You got an earworm, and it is loud in that area.
You'll be dreaming, like,
so you know, for the next week or so, you're still, it's Small World in your head.
I hope everyone has that in their head now. It's a Small World.
And that if we're gonna go for thrills, then I have to say Tron.
Wait, what is it?
Tron.
Tron.
Which is Tron. It's based on the movie, on the movie Disney Tron. The first one.
I don't even know that movie.
The first movie for Tron came out back in 1980. Oh my God. 5. It was somewhere in the 80s. Okay. And it is sort of like actually, no, you were not even born.
85.
No, yeah, it was before that. So it was like a probably around 1980.
I was born 83.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's my birthday.
Yes. And because we went and we didn't have to worry about babysitters.
Kids. Yeah.
So there were no kids.
Because Haiti was born in
81.
81. I was born in 83. And then Tori in 87. Okay.
So it's kind of like a 16 pixel type of movie. Very flat, dark movie.
I like the old
school.
Yes.
Old school.
Yeah.
So that goes to the original Tron movie, and then they just did a remake a few years ago, which is a little bit, definitely technologically more advanced, and the graphics are amazing. So they created the Tron ride for the Shanghai Disney park.
Okay.
And then they brought it to Magic Kingdom to put a little bit more size in the park.
Yeah, so that one is more of a thrill ride.
Yeah, that one is definitely a thrill ride. You basically ride a motorcycle type of vehicle.
I think I've been on this.
No, you haven't.
No?
Mm-mm. You haven't done it. You've seen pictures.
Okay.
You've seen pictures, but you haven't done it yet, because that finds the ride vehicle uncomfortable, because you're leaning down, and then you have this thing that comes down on your back and gives you a hug.
So my mom is more like, she likes the thrill, and then my dad is a little bit more like me.
Calmer.
a little bit calmer. He likes maybe a little bit of thrill, but he doesn't want to get off and be like, "Well, I don't feel good," or be dizzy for the rest of the day. Not at all.
But he's trying. He's giving them a try.
He's been a lot more open. When we were at Fun Spot and he was doing stuff, I was like, I did like only one coaster, but I did ride that coaster. How many? I rode it
like 5 times. Four or five
I
times.
4 times.
It was a wooden coaster.
It was, and I like the old school.
Yeah, I don't like wooden coasters. Yeah. I feel like
which is weird because I thought you used to when we were younger.
I would try them, but I come out feeling like a bad alcoholic drink that you've been shaking and stirred. No. So it just rattles my brain too much. Yeah. I like the metal coasters. They're smoother.
That makes sense.
And the faster, the better.
Yeah.
As long as I can do them, you have to try them once.
Yeah.
And then you know if you really like them or not.
That's true. So another question. What would you do for me as a divergent going to Disney? So I was just diagnosed 2 years ago and I have not been to Disney since then. So what would you do for me going, like if I want to go now as a neurodivergent?
Definitely you have to have your loops.
So and the loops are, they're...
It's just little
ear
headphones.
Things. Yeah, and you
plugs that you put them in your ear.
And they make different kinds for, they can make ones that are completely silent. The ones I have kind of muffle sounds.
Okay, so a little filter.
Yeah, so if I'm sitting with someone, I can hear that person and it kind of filters out all of the background noise. Because that's the hardest part, is like being able to have a conversation with someone and all I hear is this person, this ride, that sound, the buzzing of the electricity and all of that stuff. So you would say for me going, definitely the loop, or at least any type of headphones.
something that can cover your ears.
Yeah.
This one, it's not quite Disney related, but I mentioned it to you about Universal's Epic Universe. Epic Universe has a Nintendo world, and what happens with Nintendo? There's a lot of stuff coming at you. But the land itself is extremely loud.
Yeah.
And it is an attack to your senses. A lot of people say when they first come out, Peach's Castle, it's like, oh my God.
Do you think it's visually, it could be overstimulating?
It's all visually and auditory stimulation. Yeah. And it's like the game. It's like the game. It goes, the land is vertical.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a lot of stairs to navigate, but they also have elevators for people who cannot do stairs.
Yeah.
But a lot of people
make it accessible for people. It's not just neurodivergent, but people who have physical disabilities.
Yeah. Now with the neurodivergent, there are other areas in the park that are quieter. Nintendo is not the quietest.
Yeah. Would you just say like a limited amount of time?
Yeah, you have to take your time with it. You know, you can go in and out and
just knowing like, oh, she's starting to feel a certain way, and then but. Do you see other people who are neurodivergent with headphones? Or any other type of things that might help them?
Well,
like stemming, or even people who chew things or playing with things.
Or is
that something you haven't maybe noticed
as much? I haven't noticed as much, mostly because of my vision problems.
My mom has a little bad eyesight.
And so the more obvious one that I can see is just headphones.
The headphones, yeah. And I saw that at
some kids playing and some kids playing Rubik's Cube, but I don't know that they're doing it because they might have some sensory issues, or if they're just passing the time with it.
That either that or it's a stemming thing. I like something. Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. Can you share a common neurodivergent trait that we both have when it comes to being out and about in Disney parks? So. My mom is not diagnosed, and but you are neurodivergent, and you're neurodivergent in a different way. But what would you say that we would have a common neurodivergence when it comes to being out at something
at the park?
At a place like Disney?
Ooh, I haven't really thought about that.
I think for me, like I could think about maybe people and people being rude.
Well, yeah. And you're right about that.
Yes.
How people behave in public.
And that would be it's a very interesting thing. It's called like a sense of injustice when people are being rude or inconsiderate. And I feel like we're both that way, where someone can be rude. We're just like, there's no need to be like that. So do you think that would be a common trait? Yeah.
And the fact that I usually get run over.
Yeah,
like I'm not there.
Sometimes you feel invisible.
Yeah.
I feel that way too. All of a sudden, someone bumps into you, you're like,
people have no sense of their spaces.
Yes, spatial and awareness. But also, as a neurodivergent, spatial awareness is hard because we are very clumsy. But we are aware of other people, and we try not to be clumsy with other people.
Or get into their space.
Rapid fire questions, Mom. Are you ready for this?
Well.
Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon?
Typhoon.
Okay. Disney Parade or Disney Fireworks?
Fireworks.
Fireworks. And you can see.
And I can see them from home.
So from where they live, you can see the Disney fireworks. Which Disney park can you live without? Without.
Probably. It's a close one with Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I
would say more into Hollywood Studios. We
that
actually don't give.
I never hear that.
We don't give that park enough love.
Not at all.
But it's got thrilling rides. It's got Slinky, although it's a family coaster.
That's the dog, right?
That's the dog.
Yes.
And then there's Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror. That's where it goes up and down.
Up and down.
Yeah.
And then you got Aerosmith roller coaster.
Yes.
Which
that's a roller coaster.
That's an indoor roller coaster that we finally both rode less than 7 months or so ago.
And that one always has a line, doesn't it?
It always has a long, and that's the reason why it always has a long line. But we finally, took the bull by the horn, and that we went and rode it, and we enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it actually really
Dad
fun.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, he liked it.
I like that.
And but now it's going to be shutting down, and it's going to change from Aerosmith to the Muppets and Animals Band. So it's going to be closing down for a while.
Animated or live action?
Probably animated.
Yeah, that's how I am. Favorite Disney villain?
Oh.
And why?
The villain. I don't know. Maybe because I know a little bit more. I might go for Maleficent just because she turns into a dragon.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. Andy's home. All right. If you get it, you get it.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Okay. If you could work at a Disney theme park, what job would you want? So not which part, what job?
What kind of job would I like? Definitely not at a restaurant.
No.
That's
why not at a restaurant? Because people are rude and they're hangry. They want their food and they gotta wait in line for the food.
And dirty.
And what?
Dirty.
Dirty. Yeah. Well,
kind of.
A little bit, yeah.
Actually, silly enough, I would not mind being a cast member on the back of the tram telling you,
yes,
please sit down with your hands, feet, arms and legs inside the tram while it's moving. Por favor, mantenga sus brazos, manos, pies y piernas adentro del tranvía mientras está en movimiento.
I like
y
that.
vigilen a sus niños.
That's funny because
gracias.
When you were talking about the tram earlier, because every time I've ridden the tram, the people are friendly.
Yes,
and they'll joke with you, and I like that.
But you have to be patient too, because they make the announcement that they're not boarding anymore, and there's a lot of people who just
get mad.
Well, they just are not listening to instructions, and they just try to get into the tram when they're giving instructions of not to.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. You have to listen, because they'll tell you everything. They don't. The directions are there.
Yeah, they're always very clear.
Yeah, and their people are there to help you. So if you listen, you will get any and everything you want, 100%.
Yep.
All right. Are there any neurodivergent Disney characters? And if so, who would be the most neurodivergent character?
I haven't thought about that.
Well, that's the point.
Oh, there's so many characters.
Yeah. What about Tinkerbell? Do you think she would be a little neurodivergent? She's defiant.
For sure. But I don't know. I will have to kind of work on that one.
Think about that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe if we remember, we'll go back to that.
Because there's so many characters in the Disney
there's a
world.
Lot. It's a lot.
And there's characters that I don't even know about.
Yeah.
So
I would say I would hope now that they would make more Disney movies with autistic characters or ADHD, and showing that those types of people are okay, and
That there are. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and they like Disney too. So this one might be hard also. If our family was a Disney family, which Disney family would we be?
Okay.
Or you could go with which characters would be for each one of us.
Oh man, I needed to be prepared for that one.
So let's start with you. Which Disney character would you be?
Well, I still like Tinkerbell, so I
So
think
Mom would be Tinkerbell.
I think I'm stuck with Tinkerbell.
Okay, so who would Dad be?
I don't know.
Dad would be the dad in Aladdin.
See, it's just that, like I said, I don't know all of.
He would be the dad in Aladdin. I don't know what his name.
What, Jasmine's dad?
Jasmine's dad, yes.
Okay.
Because
I haven't seen Aladdin.
Kind of what?
I haven't seen Aladdin, so
I gotta. That's what they called me at Wilcox when I was a kid. They called me Jasmine.
Oh,
because the long
hair. Well, you didn't have
a very short amount of time. Then my mom chopped it off, but that's what they would call me. So I think Dad would be the dad, and because a little bit strict, worried about his daughters. Well,
okay.
Daughter, that would be me, but so who would Haiti be? So Haiti is my older brother.
Oh gosh, he would be Goofy.
Goofy, yeah. So Haiti would be Goofy.
He's always been lean. He always has leaned toward that character.
Yeah, and then we'll go to Tori. Tori's my younger sister. That one's hard. That's a hard one.
That would be a hard one. I don't know.
All right, so who would I be? That one's hard too. Oh. Which one sleeps all the time? Sleeping Beauty.
Well, yeah,
I don't sleep as much as I used to.
She slept for 100 years, and then some stranger came and kissed her.
I was always tired. Yes.
No, not Snow White. Tangled. Okay, that's the Rapunzel.
So Tangled is Rapunzel. Or I was thinking maybe the redheaded one who was also like.
Oh, there's
running all around doing her own thing.
Well, there's Little Mermaid.
No, which is redheaded. The redheaded with the
Brave?
She's a warrior. Brave.
Oh, Brave. Yeah. Meridia.
Yeah, where she's like, she just did whatever she wanted.
Okay, I've never seen that movie either.
I don't know, impulsive, but so what is your favorite? This is important for people who want to go to Disney. What is your favorite Disney restaurant and why? And what is your favorite food there?
Okay. Just to start,
which park?
Just to start, we haven't been to all of the restaurants. Well, okay.
Yeah.
But I think of the ones that we've done, we like the best at Animal Kingdom.
So Animal Kingdom.
It's Yak and Yeti.
Yak and Yeti.
It's basically Asian food.
Okay.
They've got a fantastic fried rice.
Okay. So Yak and Yeti at Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom. In the Asian.
Fried rice. A little Asian.
Yes. Asian area.
Okay. Yeah. Everybody loves fried rice.
Mm-hmm.
Which park would be most suitable for neurodivergent people?
Probably Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom?
Yeah. And then Epcot.
I was going to say Epcot first, because the way Epcot is, and this is why I like Epcot, is that it goes like this.
It's 2 circles.
Yeah, you know exactly. Like, you can't get lost. You don't get confused. You're not going to, you're like,
in and out. And
yeah, or you're not, I already was in this area. I'm going to go to this area. So definitely.
Yeah. Epcot is the easiest one to navigate, just because you got the world of wonder, so to speak, with nature and space, and then you have a little walkway and you go into the showcase, and it's basically a big circle. Yeah. So you can either go to the right through Canada or go to the left through Mexico, and you end up in the same spot you started.
Yeah. That's why I like it.
But those two,
it's so much easier.
Those 2 parks are also the quietest for the most part. Yeah. There's a few areas where it's a little crazy, but it's not like being in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I think Magic
Kingdom, which is the whole park. It's very loud.
Have you witnessed any neurodivergent behaviors from others and wish that you could help that person at the Disney park?
Not really, other than children who are tired and they're having a meltdown.
Yes. Yeah. And you feel
bad. You feel bad for them.
Yeah.
And yeah, in some ways it's like, okay, so what's wrong with them?
Yeah. Or would that be like more motherly instinct?
Yeah, more motherly.
Because I get that way. It was like, give me that baby, I can help. Like, I can calm that baby down real quick.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that you get tired of going to a Disney park?
Nope.
No, that's easy.
Every day is something different.
Yeah.
I mean, the rides are the same.
But they always have different events, different entertainers.
There's events, and the people are different that come to the park. And sometimes, I might do a ride on my own, and you strike a conversation, with the person in front of you, in front of you or behind me. The other day, I met a real nice couple from Brazil.
Yeah.
And so you just never know who you might run into.
Or you might run into someone from Springfield, Illinois.
That too.
Which Disney park is Dad's favorite, and why do you think that?
Dad loves Epcot.
Epcot, yeah. Me and my dad are more alike when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why do you think he likes Epcot best?
It's just, like you said, easy to navigate. Probably a little more chilled out.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also a lot of more places to sit down and rest.
Relax. Yeah. And that's how I am. I like to be able to have a moment, sit down, have quiet time, kind of regroup.
Nowadays, being pass holders is like there's not a rush to do everything. Like someone who would just come for a day, and this will be their Disney vacation for 10 years.
Park hopping,
which is when we first brought you guys back in 1992.
Yeah,
we had tickets for like each day was a park, and you really wanted to kind of like hit everything. So it was always go 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 go.
Yeah, and I'm sure looking back at that, do you remember me struggling?
We all struggle on that trip, mostly because it was a lot. It was not as organized as it is nowadays.
Yeah,
it was very chaotic.
Yeah,
the characters would come out to do meet and greets, and people would just kind of like bees to honey.
Yeah, but now they have it set up where there's lines.
Now it's set up on special areas, and you just get on a line, and you have your 3 or 4 minutes with the character, and
because you can't just be chasing them.
Yeah, you cannot chase them.
That's not okay.
And it was.
And you have to realize that they're human beings too. Yeah, they're in a costume, but they're still human beings.
It was hot, and just a lot of people overall. So we did the parks, but in between the parks, we actually took a day to go to Daytona Beach, to the beach.
Oh, okay.
And you really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I love the beach. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's calm and relaxing and relaxes my body and all of that stuff. But
yeah, it was a hectic trip. Nowadays it's much better. But that's the good thing about being a pass holder. You can just I mean, there are days, plenty of time we go to the park and we don't even ride anything. We just go and walk.
Yeah. How many days a week do you think you guys go to the parks?
We divide between Disney and Universal. So
Disney is a separate pass from Universal Pass, right?
Universal has for Islands of Adventure and Hollywood Studios.
But you don't have to have both. Can you have separate Universal passes?
Yeah, they're separate, and you purchase what you can afford.
Yeah.
Or you think you can do.
Yeah.
So we just started with Disney passes. So we would do like a park a week.
Okay.
But sometimes we just go 2 or 3 times. It depends on how, what we're doing.
You've gotten your money's worth already. Even if you've gone 2 days a week, right?
The way it works nowadays with how much you pay for an Incredipass, with 8 visits, you have it paid. And after that, it's just frosting on the cake.
Exactly.
The first year that we were pass holders, I keep a list of that too. And
they write lists of everything.
I'm retired, so
that's
I have
the neurodivergency though in you guys. In you.
I'm retired, so I have the time to
write down
do things like that. It's just also to kind of like show you guys what we did when we no longer are on this side of the world. You can think of, oh, Mom was this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So of the first year, we ended up going to Disney parks, probably around 75 trips total between all 4 parks.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So if you could be like, if you were to be one of those characters that dressed up and stuff, who would you be?
I think I would like to be one of those.
And don't even think about the heat though, because the heat,
No. I'm not thinking about anything, but the fairy godmothers, they got them
yes.
on. They have them on some contraption that they just kind of like roll
a hover.
through.
I don't know what they're called. Yeah.
I have no balance.
Where it looks like they're.
I have no balance, but I think, but I think it's just like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, because they look like they're floating around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they're flying, because they're like Tinkerbell, flying. Now, the other thing that I would like to do is be Tinkerbell.
Yes.
And just have that zip line from the castle tower all the way down to Tomorrowland.
See, now that I would not want to do.
That I've seen the view on pictures. They have pictures of what the person that does Tinkerbell, what it looks like going down, and it's like, oh yes,
looks like fun.
Yes, it does.
So you have all of your Disney things here. What is your favorite? Let's show.
What is your favorite? Of at least what I got here. It would be my fancy Tinkerbell.
Okay, way over here.
Yeah.
I think it is in the shot. So as you can see, it's all a lot of Tinkerbell. She loves Tinkerbell, which I love Tinkerbell too. Like I feel like maybe she could be like my spirit little animal.
Mm-hmm.
But so is there any questions that you wish I would have asked that I didn't think of?
I think you covered quite a bit,
right?
And some stuff that I had no idea.
Okay, good. So, what has been, I asked Aaron this too, what has been the rewarding part of doing this podcast with me?
Spending a little more time with you.
Yes.
Since you live in Springfield and I'm down here, we don't get to hang around.
Yeah. And I'd probably say that this is the most I've let you talk to me about Disney. Like legit.
For sure, because you normally just don't want to.
Disney, yeah. It's because it can be overwhelming for me because it is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm really glad that you shared and it makes me feel good. And I just want to say thanks, Mama, for always supporting me in my ventures.
You're
the
welcome.
Ones that I fail at, and the ones that I exceed at. I want to say thank you also for learning more about neurodivergency and being one of my top supporters. I get emotional. No matter how hard or challenging it can be. When I call you with certain situations. But I just want to say thank you, and thank you for doing the podcast.
Not a problem. Motherhood comes with a lot of up and down.
And it's like never ending.
And it never ends. It doesn't matter how old your child is, you're always going to be a mother.
Yeah.
You're always going to be a father. And we're always going to be watching. You can be independent or not don't need anything, but we still worry. My father still worries about me.
Yeah.
And always asking, how you doing? Be careful with the hurricanes. Be careful when you go driving.
Yeah.
So it never ends.
Especially when you're driving to Disney. You have to be very careful.
Just driving overall in Florida.
So I'm just going to wrap it up. So again, viewers, if you come up with any ideas for me, please do that. I want you to follow along with Raw Vibes Summer Adventures. I might do another podcast with my mom, trying to get my dad to do a podcast. We'll probably talk about Puerto Rico. We leave for Puerto Rico soon with
next week.
Fuega also. And I'm super excited about that. I will be videoing and eating lots of yummy food, gain a little bit of weight. So also don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. My mom is also on Facebook. She loves people. And remember, if you want a shout out, local or here in Florida, just let me know. So any local promotion. And again, if you have any topics, just let me know. And we will see you next time. Peace out.